Hello everybody! Today I am going to explore some DIY poi making. So I went to a couple stores and I looked around the stores and I tried to find things that would look like poi, whether that be rope, paracord, like what could I get to make my own poi? So I'm going to start off with my dollar store finds. My first one is pre-made poi. What do you know? If you want, you can go ahead and buy these tug-a-rope tennis balls and they work perfectly as poi. I can't really do them in here because I might hit something, but anyways, the idea is it works. So if you want a quick set of poi, tennis balls, and rope, and these are already made, check that out. So, hey, pretty cheap and efficient. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some other ones that I found. The next thing I found, again, is in the dog toy aisle, which is really funny. So I have these two rope balls, and I'm going to turn them into poi. At the dollar store, they also have paracord. So you take these dog toys, and you could add paracord to it. I'll show you what I did to make my very own poi out of these. Okay, those were what I found at the dollar store. You could get dog rope toys probably anywhere, and tennis balls and rope, and make your own. And I found these little guys. Look at how little they are. They're tiny, they're round, they're a little bit soft, there's fluff in there, but there's also a bit of beans in the bottom, so that way it's a nice weight for poi or a rope dart. So I have these along with my paracord. I'm going to make a pair of poi and a rope dart. All the props that I'm making today are for dance purposes only. They're also only practice versions. You cannot let them on fire. They are not appropriate for fire spinning. They're for practice to work your way up to using fire someday. Also, it's just really fun to use different colors and different designs, and you could use them during the day and they'll look amazing. So, here we go. Here's the first one. So I have paracord, two dog toys, and some scissors. Here we go. When figuring out how long you want your poi to be, it's okay to make it longer at first because you could cut it down to the right size. But you want it to be about armpit length. So from the end of your hand to your armpit would be a good length. Okay. So we're unraveling it. So you take one of these and you find one of the loops that looks a little looser than the others, the best you can. It's not really made for this. We're DIYing. So find one that'll work. And you're going to slide this through the middle loop. If you're having a tricky time, maybe you could use the end of a paintbrush to help you if you need it, to push it through the rest of the way. There we go. Okay, so there we are. We're going to tie a knot. Tying a knot. So now we have the dog toy, the rope ball, and paracord, right, with the knot. Okay, and we have to figure out what length we want. You usually want about the length of your armpit to the end of your hand, like that. So about that long. And you figure you're gonna loop it, though. You could come up with different types of ends. You could make a slip knot at the end. You could just tie a knot at the end. You could put a wooden bead at the end. Whatever you would like to do. There. Next, I suggest using a little bit of fabric glue on there, or outside take a lighter and just very gently burn the end so it melts and so that it doesn't fray. Okay, but now we have an end to hold on to, and we have one poi to get started. Okay, so there's one. I think I made that a little too long. I can adjust it though, I'll adjust it. Alrighty, so we have our first poi, and I have my nice wooden bead. Okay, and it helps keep it in between your fingers while you're spinning. Now the next thing I have to do is go ahead and make the exact same length. So you need to do the same steps to the next one. So I've tied my next one. So you hold it taut on the table, and then when you get to the edge, right, when it's as far as it goes, you're gonna go ahead and add the other bead, and just make sure to measure that they are exactly the same length. So go ahead and tie the other bead on there, and you'll have your first set of poi. Alrighty, here they are, my first set of practice poi. A little tip, when you're measuring your lengths to get them to be the same length, I recommend going a little longer than you think you need, because when you go to tie it around the bead, it's going to get shorter. So what I would do is cut off a little extra, right, maybe 4 or 5 inches, than you think you need, and then wrap it around the bead, tie it, and then cut off the extra. Because first time I did it, I did not have enough. So yeah, use a little extra at first, it helps. Okay, next one. Alrighty, so here we go. I have my first little guy here on a paracord. Okay, what I noticed with this particular stuffed animal is that there's a nice seam on top, and I think that offers it a lot of strength. So what I do is take advantage of that seam, keeping this together when I'm spinning it. So what I did is I cut a little hole right before the seam and right after the seam so I can pinch the rope through it, and it's going to grasp onto that seam. So that's what I did. I tried to go to approximately the center. It's really terrible doing this because I don't want to take scissors to a little stuffed animal, but gotta if you want to turn them into poi. So you just basically take your scissors a little bit below the seam and pinch. And it should open it up, just a little hole. Now, do the same thing on the other side. Be careful not to get the seam. Right? You want a little bit of space so that the seam is going to be able to hold most of that weight and pressure from the spinning. Okay, now there's a hole. There's a hole in my poor stuffed animal. And now I'm going to take this paracord and I'm going to fit it through the hole and tie it in a knot. Alright, so my first poi, what I did was I got it through the hole, right? Tied a regular knot. And then to double knot it, what I did was I twisted around the rope 3 times. So let me show you. It also helped to use a paintbrush to help push it through. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get it through. So again, you're going to tie a regular knot first. So let's tie a regular knot first. It's good to have some extra. It helps when you're working with it. So tie a regular knot, then wrap it around 3 times. And then you're going to go ahead and put it through the hole. And straighten it out and push it down as you pull up to get that double knot with a nice solid knot there with the wrapped around 3 times. Okay, so there, now we have 2 mostly identical poi stuffed animals. Alright, now again we want to try to make them about the same length, so that's going to take a minute. And then you're going to tie the other end. You could either just tie it in a knot, you could tie a bead at the end. We got our 2 little poi. Alrighty, I've been working on my poi, and I've been working on my rope darts, and now I have 4 sets of these things. I can't wait to show you. Okay, here we go. Time for the reveal. Okay, my dog toy poi with the paracord. Here we go. So here we have some pink ones. Again, I can't do too much inside because I don't want to hit anything. Okay, the next one is my rope dart. Okay, so again, another pink one. Here we go. So it works really well. And I have like a little accent on here. I decided not to use any fabric glue on here because when I did, it turned out to be too stiff, and I think it would hurt if I hit this fabric on myself while I was practicing, so I decided to do it without fabric glue. So if it frays at the end, that's okay, it's just decorative. But yes, this is the rope dart. The length you want your rope dart to be is at the end of the ball, right? Your cord is going to be going from the ball to the length. You're not going to be able to see it in the camera, but anyway, so from the end of the ball to your other hand, and then that down to the floor. So the length of your arms, and then from your shoulder to the floor should be your length of your rope dart. Okay? So work with it. Having a little bit extra is okay because then you can adjust it or cut it off, no big deal. I tied a slip knot. Okay, so this can be adjusted. You can put your wrist in there. I do not know how to do a rope dart yet. That is something I'm going to learn. So this is practice before you get to the fire versions. So basically, this has rope at the end, and for this one, it's got a either soft or hollow core. It's hard to tell because it's a dog toy, but this is a dog toy, right? But because it is bunched up, it could hurt while you're practicing. So if you accidentally hit yourself with it, be prepared. It could feel like a softball hitting you. So be mindful. I usually like to practice with just the hand movements first. That's how I learned to do poi. I figured out like, okay, my hand goes this way, then under this. and figured out with my hands before I tried with my poi, and I did hit myself several times. It does hurt. Be careful. Okay, next thing. So my next set of DIY poi, I started off with the dog rope toy again and some paracord, but this time when I finished, I covered it with some fabric and tied it on there. So I have this beautiful red and gold fabric. It kind of looks like fire, and I have black cord. So here is this set of poi. They look super awesome. Great for daytime fire spinning. I also have a matching rope dart. Okay, here it is. Matching rope dart. So again, fabric tied around it, and I also have the black fabric accent. So yeah, it looks really cool. Okay, now for my last two. They're the same style. I just used two different types of paracord. Ta-da! They're the cute fuzzy ones. I only need to really show you one of these because the other ones are exactly the same, just a different color cord. Okay, so we have two stuffed animals. They do have some sort of beans in the bottom to make them slightly heavy, and they're pretty much circular and round. It's perfect for this. So I have paracord attached to the top. Okay, I have my handles. And here we go. Time for the cutest poi ever. Great for daytime dancing with the cutest poi ever. Okay, here it is. Here's my matching rope dart with a cute little accent, right? Okay, here we go. So this is the cutest rope dart you'll probably ever see. And you can make your own with any stuffed animal. It just has to be a decent weight. So yeah, there he is. Super cute. Welcome to the Life Authentic. If you like this video, click subscribe, give it a like, and hit the bell to get notifications.